Fu Liangzhou had grown weary of his illicit pleasures. He brought the mistress he'd kept on the side for 3 years before me. Prepare for Ningning and me to exchange wedding vows. She favors your courtyard, she'll have her wedding night there. I loosened my grip on the pregnancy-preserving formula. Whispered softly, "All right." Fu Liangzhou saw I hadn't even flushed. Agreeing so swiftly. And his lips twisted in sarcasm. He added, "Ningning has a strong will and wants to manage the household. Hand over all the ledgers for your estates and shops for my review." He didn't know tucked within those accounts lay a letter of divorce. I concealed my 3-month pregnancy and left the Fu residence. 2 years later, at a banquet for the capital's elite, Fu Liangzhou crushed the wine goblet in his hand. Behind me, a man of noble birth emerged, cradling a rosy-cheeked child in one arm. "My lady, it's time to feed the child." I knew Fu Liangzhou had been pampering another woman outside. A fallen noble lady. Unlike me, she was well-read, versed in the ways of love. She sought no status. Only one night of passion with Fu Liangzhou. Such docility allowed her to stay by his side for 3 years. Each time Fu Liangzhou returned home, I could smell another woman's perfume on him. The alluring, heady scent of Snow Spring's letter. It clung to Fu Liangzhou's neck, the front of his robe, even his waistband. Like a silent, pointed challenge. The first year, when I caught that unfamiliar fragrance on him, I frantically clutched his outer robe. The scent burrowed from my nose straight into my stomach. I vomited until the world spun, tears streaming down my face. Fu Liangzhou poured me a cup of tea. His expression was indifferent, merely socializing in the world of pleasure. Is it worth such concern? Su Mo possessed the bearing of a proper mistress of the household. A man's affairs, best left untouched. That night, I tasted the agony of a heart torn apart. The second year, the woman Fu Liangzhou had kept on the outside came knocking at our door. She was young and alluring. Even without makeup, she bloomed like the most vibrant western crabapple blossom. Her gaze held a fierce ambition. "Sister, don't be afraid. I will never be a concubine. Even if our family falls into ruin, I have my pride. Mother taught me, a G woman must only be a legitimate wife. If I fight, it will only be for your place." My face twisted in agony. Rage consumed me. Even tempting thoughts of mutual destruction. The third year. This year, Fu Liangzhou brought her back to the inner quarters. Openly and unashamed. Fearing I might harm her, he shielded the delicate girl behind him. His tall frame perfectly concealed her. His cold, narrow eyes fixed on me. His voice was icy as he declared, "Ningning is my soulmate. She's been by my side for 3 years. Whether you consent or not, I will marry her into this household and give her proper status." He listed numerous demands Ji Yuning had made. If these weren't met, Ji Yuning would rather be kept outside the main house for life than compromise herself by marrying into the Fu family. Her spirit is too strong, she would never stoop to being someone's concubine. Therefore, if she enters the household, she must at least be my equal, a co-wife. She is frail and loves the sun, having set her heart on my courtyard at first sight. I must move out, yielding it to her and Fu Liangzhou for their bridal chamber. Furthermore, all the cats raised in my courtyard must be driven away. Because Ji Yuning feared cats, couldn't even bear their meows. I listened quietly. Not a single word of protest escaped me. I fought back the nausea rising in my throat. After swallowing a sour plum, I murmured softly, "All right." Only then did I release the hand I'd been clutching. A prescription for pregnancy preservation, damp with sweat and crumpled, fell lightly to the ground. I waited for Fu Liangzhou all day. I wanted to tell him. I was 3 months pregnant, but the fetus was unstable, and I had experienced bleeding. The doctor who took my pulse instructed me to rest quietly. Avoid exertion. and keep my emotions steady. Now, there was no point in saying anything. Seeing me so obedient, not even making a fuss. Fu Liangzhou furrowed his brow. His tone carried a hint of irritation. Mo, I asked you to handle my wedding arrangements. And you don't even get angry? If you have a temper, take it out on me. Don't secretly use your position as the main wife to bully Ningning. He still remembered the first year I caught the scent on his body. My eyes were swollen from crying. For a long time afterward, the mere sight of him made me vomit until I was lightheaded. Half a year passed, and I wasted away to skin and bones. Yet he sneered. So you care about me that much? You need to curb your possessiveness. It only irritates people. Do you think feigning illness and weakness will work? That it'll keep me? Could Mo stop trying to imitate others? You're nothing like her. To rid myself of my jealousy and clinginess, of my concern for him. Fu Liangzhou flung his sleeves and slammed the door. That night, he sought out Ji Yuning, the red-sleeved concubine, and didn't return for half a month. Eventually, I stopped vomiting. Only then was Fu Liangzhou satisfied. My heart must have grown cold bit by bit from that moment on, ceasing to ache forever. Ji Yuning still felt it wasn't enough. She pursed her lips and tugged at Fu Liangzhou's sleeve. Liangzhou, you promised me, even as a secondary wife, you'd let me manage the household. My ancestors held the rank of Minister of State. My family is a scholarly lineage. If not for our decline, why would I have married you? If you refuse, I leave this instant. I won't set foot inside the Fu residence again. Fu Liangzhou urgently stopped her. Where else could you go if not to me? The look he cast over his shoulder at me had shed all warmth. Cold as frost. You saw Mo too. Ningning has a fiercely proud nature. Even when she sold herself into the Imperial Music Bureau, she never bowed to nobles. Had I not saved her back then, she would have taken her own life on the spot to preserve her honor and integrity. My chest clenched painfully for a moment. Every night, I waited for him to return. He had long since changed his heart and fallen for another. He had pledged his love to another woman. Bring the keys to the storeroom, along with all the deeds and shop contracts under your name. He paused, his voice dripping with coldness as he continued. And hand them all over to Ningning to manage from now on. Bao Xiang, fetch the ledgers and storeroom keys. I instructed the maid beside me. But she didn't move. Her eyes welled up with tears, filled with sorrow for me. Master, the mistress has already. Who asked you to speak? Go fetch the items. I had already resolved to leave. There was no need for him to know about the child growing within me. After the ledgers were brought, Fu Liangzhou didn't examine them closely, merely to satisfy his beloved. He hastily replaced every instance of my name with his own. Ji Yuning, standing beside him, raised an eyebrow at me triumphantly. Her flamboyantly coquettish eyes and brows radiated the defiance of a victor. Fu Liangzhou didn't notice the divorce papers tucked among the ledger sheets. He signed his name without a second thought. Ningning, after we're married, I'll transfer all these fields and shops to your name. He coaxed her gently. It suddenly struck me, how long had it been since Fu Liangzhou had spoken to me in such a tone? At our wedding, he'd carried me over the fire pit. On our wedding night, he held me tenderly, whispering, "If it hurts, you can bite my shoulder." When we exchanged vows, he swore to treat me with utmost respect and unwavering devotion. The same words. He could say them to me, or to anyone else. Only I was foolish enough to believe them. After Fu Liangzhou escorted Ji Yuning away, I picked up the miscarriage-inducing prescription that had fallen to the floor. I left the Fu residence. Returning to the herbal shop where I'd had my pulse taken earlier, I handed over the crumpled prescription. "Doctor, please replace this formula for me with one for abortion." Are you certain, madam? Once taken, there is no turning back. Through the misty haze in my eyes, I smiled slowly. I am certain. I gave him 3 years. Yet he still fell for Ji Yuning. There's no turning back between us now. Everything he gave me, I want none of it. Including this child. The doctor took my pulse again and urged. Madam, have you been distressed today? Your pulse is highly unstable. Drinking this abortion medicine risks severe hemorrhage and danger to your life. Wait 3 days until your condition improves. Then I'll prescribe something else for you. Back at the Fu residence, I pulled the divorce papers tucked inside the ledger and tucked them carefully close to my body. I ordered Bao Xiang to pack my belongings. Ji Yuning, who was exploring the Fu residence, suddenly burst into my courtyard. She smiled, looking around everywhere. Sister's courtyard is truly lovely. Soon I'll be moving in. Leave that carved sandalwood bed for me. When the time comes, Liang Zhou and I will consummate our marriage upon it. Bao Xiang, enraged, spoke for me. Is everything someone else owns suddenly precious? There are so many beds in the world and so many men, why must you covet one used by another? Miss G, despite your claims of coming from a scholarly family, I'd thought you were born with a vulgar nature. You insolent servant dare mock me. Ji Yuning's face twisted in fury as she swung a slap toward me. I stepped in front of Bao Xiang, clamping her hand. Miss G hasn't even married into the Fu family yet. It's far too early to start bossing people around and flexing your authority. Ji Yuning rubbed her wrist resentfully, her dark eyes fixed on mine. Suddenly, she broke into a smile. This bracelet is quite unique, it's engraved with a circle of sutras. Could you remove it and give it to me? Sister? I can't afford to look too shabby when I marry into Liang Zhou. I must ask you, the legitimate wife, to support me and add to my dowry. I remained silent. I raised my hand, poised to remove the silver bracelet I'd worn for 3 years. Bao Xiang, both angry and heartbroken, pressed down on my wrist. Madam, this bracelet was obtained by your husband. He cowed out until his head bled, climbed the mountain in the rain to pray for you. He burned incense for 3 days straight for it. Didn't you promise him you'd never take it off until death? I traced the silver bracelet on my wrist, worn smooth over 3 years. Its cool touch felt as if it had absorbed my body heat. It had become part of me. After marrying Fu Liang Zhou, I fell gravely ill. He knelt his way up the mountain, drenched in rain, climbing thousands of stone steps. Kneeling before the Buddha, he begged for this silver bracelet for me. He burned with a fever so high he was delirious. Yet he refused to rest or take medicine. Stubbornly, he slipped the bracelet engraved with sutras onto my wrist himself. His parched, fever-cracked lips pressed a kiss to my forehead. Su Mo, I want you to live 100 years. No one can take you from me. How could you break your promise to grow old together? I didn't break my promise. A lump of bitter sorrow choked my chest. It blocked my breath. We once loved each other so deeply. Yet we couldn't withstand the passage of time. After just 3 years, he grew tired of me and found a new confidant. It doesn't matter. If you like it, I'll give it to you. May you and Fu Liangzhou grow old together in love, blessed with children and grandchildren. I closed my eyes, biting back the pain, like severing a memory, a feeling. My wrists reddened as I slipped off the bracelet. This bracelet meant a lot to you, didn't it? She teased with a mischievous smile. I deliberately didn't catch it. The silver bracelet fell to the floor. She stomped on it hard, crushing it until it bent and warped. I stared blankly at the irreparable bracelet on the ground for a moment. I raised my hand and slapped her across the face. Fu Liangzhou heard the sound and burst into the room. What met his eyes was Ji Yuning. Her eyes red-rimmed, clutching her cheek, collapsed on the floor. He glared at me coldly, demanding, "Did you hit her?" I met his piercing gaze and admitted, "I did." Fu Liangzhou's reproach and bias choked in his throat. He saw the twisted, broken silver bracelet on the floor. Suddenly, his pupils contracted, his chest heaving. His voice trembled. "Who gave you permission to give it to her?" Mo. "Answer me. This silver bracelet was bought with my life to protect you. You promised me you'd never take it off. Forever? Do he and I even have a forever?" I couldn't recall the last time Fu Liangzhou had been this furious. After he got Ji Yuning, he rarely spared me a glance. Now, his lips were quivering. His eyes held a complex mix of emotions, a dark red tinged with rage, disappointment, and hurt. He felt hurt. After sending Ji Yuning out of the room, he cornered me, trapping me in his embrace. What was this about? "She's just a secondary wife. You are my legally wedded wife." I only gave her a title, but I no longer wish to be his wife. Ji Yuning lowered his head, his lips drawing near. I turned away, unable to suppress a wave of nausea. Ji Yuning's expression darkened. "Mo. What's wrong? Feeling sick?" I swallowed the acid rising in my throat, forcing a normal expression. Perhaps I've just had an upset stomach these past few days. 3 days passed, and my pulse had stabilized. I took the prepared abortion medicine from the doctor's hands, walking toward the pharmacy entrance. Fu Liangzhou happened to be accompanying Ji Yuning inside. Ji Yuning interlaced her fingers with his, leaning half into his embrace as they walked. Anyone could see they were exceptionally affectionate. Fu Liangzhou saw me, his gaze halting as he scrutinized me, his eyes fixed intently on the medicine packet in my hand. Ji Yuning approached me. "Sister, you're here to buy medicine too? What a coincidence. Liangzhou has the day off today, so he's accompanying me to buy pregnancy-inducing herbs." She feared I might not hear clearly. Smiling sweetly, she enunciated the words pregnancy-inducing herbs with deliberate clarity. Ji Yuning rubbed her own lower abdomen. "Liangzhou has yet to have an heir. My womb has been uncooperative, bearing no fruit in 3 years. Someone must bear children for the Fu family." Last night, Liangzhou held me close, saying he wanted me to give him sons or daughters. He claimed any daughter would surely inherit my intelligence and beauty. A wave of nausea surged up my throat, fighting the sour taste in my mouth. I forced a careless smile at her. "Better not have a daughter. I fear you'd corrupt her. Of all things to covet, you must snatch what others discard." Fu Liangzhou. "I don't want it anymore." I walked past Ji Yuning, whose face was dark with displeasure. Fu Liangzhou's fingers tightened, gripping my wrist. "What medicine are you buying here? Where are you sick?" I actually detected a trace of ridiculous concern in his tone. I turned my head and looked at him, completely unconcerned, as calm as a cloudless sky. "Abortion pills." He seemed to think he'd misheard. His grip on my wrist tightened, preventing me from leaving. His voice grew urgent as he demanded, "Mo. Say that again. What medicine did you buy?" I brushed away his tight hold. "Just abortion pills." Fu Liangzhou. "Does it bother you that much?" Mo. "Are you hiding something from me?" Fu Liangzhou froze momentarily, then looked at my stomach with a mix of shock and delight. Even Ji Yuning beside him grew tense. I covered my slightly rounded belly with my hand, coldly replying, "You're overthinking it. My menstrual cycle has been irregular these past months. The doctor prescribed abortion pills to regulate it." Mo. "You dare lie to me." His words had barely left his mouth. Ji Yuning suddenly collapsed limply into his arms. Fu Liangzhou had no time left for me. His expression panicked as he scooped Ji Yuning up and rushed toward the doctor. As he passed me, he shoved me hard. I crashed into the pharmacy counter, A dull ache spread through my lower abdomen. The blood drained from my face. Yet he didn't even glance my way. His hand rested on my abdomen. Fu Liangzhou. You'll never know what you've lost with your own hands. After returning to the Fu residence and delivering the divorce decree he personally signed to the authorities, I lowered my head and drank the thick, potent abortion potion. Fu Liangzhou returned to the manor in a state of restless agitation. He recalled Su Mo's pale face, her forehead beaded with sweat, clutching her lower abdomen as she left. But he had been too preoccupied at the time. Ji Yuning's sudden fainting left him no room to spare for her. Only after returning to his study and regaining his composure, the image of Su Mo leaving kept flashing before his eyes, that final, resolute glance back at him. Like some kind of farewell. A complete severing. Thinking of this, Fu Liangzhou felt a throbbing pain between his eyebrows. His mind in turmoil. She married me. As long as I haven't divorced her, where could she possibly go? He snorted in disdain, but still summoned the mansion's guards. Go find out. What exactly ails the mistress? What medicine did she purchase from the apothecary? After dusk, when the lamps were lit, Ji Yuning curled softly in his embrace. Even taking medicine required Fu Liangzhou spoon-feeding her. Her eyes and brows radiated a gentle, coy charm. Liangzhou. My lower abdomen feels swollen. Could it be our child kicking me? The curve of Fu Liangzhou's neck softened, radiating tender warmth. Ning Ning. You're talking nonsense. The doctor said it's barely a month old, how could it kick? Just then, the investigating guards returned to the Fu residence and knelt before Fu Liangzhou. My lord, we've uncovered the truth. The lady purchased abortion medicine today. Not some menstrual regulation remedy. Fu Liangzhou's gaze instantly sharpened. She bought abortion medicine? Ji Yuning burrowed deeper into his embrace. Her small hands clutched tightly at her lower abdomen. Her delicate brows furrowed. Could it be? She knew I was pregnant? She didn't want me to give birth before her. In an instant, tears fell onto Fu Liangzhou's hand. Fu Liangzhou's heart ached deeply. He let her lean against his chest, soothing her softly. Ning Ning. Don't be afraid. No one can harm my child. Rest assured. I'm here. Fu Liangzhou's tone was cold and detached as he issued orders to the guards. Su Mo has ulterior motives. Confine her to her quarters for 1 month. After leaving the Fu residence to recuperate for half a month, I rode alone through the vast desert. My marriage to Fu Liangzhou was something I begged for. I was once a female general of the Moon Kingdom. For Fu Liangzhou, I abandoned my rank, left everything behind, and journeyed to the completely unfamiliar Central Plains for him. 3 years. I gained a body covered in wounds, but I also saw through a person. Only after shedding the intricate robes of the inner quarters and donning armor did I exhale a long, heavy breath. On the journey back to the Moon Kingdom, in the vast desert, I found a man. He wore the robes of the Moon Kingdom's royal family, a blood-red bead dangling from his forehead. Though unconscious, his face remained strikingly handsome, almost dangerously so. After some hesitation, I fed him water, hoisted him onto my horse. After nightfall, the desert's temperature plummeted. Leaving him exposed would freeze him to death. After hesitating, I dragged him into a cave. He slept inside while I slept outside, shielding him from the biting wind and sand. When he awoke, our positions had switched. I slept inside, held in his embrace. My eyes met a pair of pale golden, untamed irises. Finally awake, he curved his lips into a soft smile. The next instant, the dagger in my hand pressed against his throat. Who are you? Your husband. He showed no fear, leaning closer, pressing his neck against the blade. You picked me up. I'm yours now. I withdrew the dagger. Now that you're awake, you mustn't follow me. He looked utterly aggrieved. His pale golden eyes were like shifting sands, blocking the cave entrance. He wouldn't let me leave. I truly am your husband. Aranmo. Have you forgotten the betrothal we sealed years ago? Are you abandoning me once more? Aranmo is my true name in the Moon Kingdom. The memory finally returned. I was betrothed back then. I should have married the crown prince of the Moon Kingdom, but I fell for Fu Liangzhou from the Central Plains at first sight. I rejected the betrothal for him, followed him to the Central Plains without looking back. You're the crown prince? Why are you in the desert? If I hadn't found him, wouldn't he have died? Helan Chi's pale golden eyes traced every contour of my face. 3 years. I've been waiting for you. After returning to the Moon Kingdom, I traveled tirelessly for so long. I fell ill again, having not properly recovered after my miscarriage. I bled once more, facing the Moon Kingdom shaman's diagnosis. Helan Chi fell silent before turning to leave. Where are you going, Your Highness? To lead my troops into the Central Plains and slay that faithless, worthless man. In the end, Helan Chi was stopped, because my bleeding wouldn't cease. I needed a specific herb, and that herb grew on the steepest cliff face next door. When I awoke, the Empress Dowager sat by my bedside, feeding me medicine. Her voice was soft and tender. Emoer has been in the Central Plains for 3 years. You've grown gaunt and weary, the spark in your eyes gone. I still remember how you drew your bow, able to shoot down eagles from the sky, radiant with confidence. Which man in the Moon Kingdom didn't lose his heart to you? How could a renowned general of the Moon Kingdom become like this in that man's hands? I held back tears for 3 years. The resolve I felt when I drank the abortion potion. The impenetrable wall I thought I'd built. Yet the Empress Dowager's tender, heartbroken questions shattered it completely. Pa. Emoer hurts so much. I wept like a child who'd finally found home. The Empress Dowager embraced me, her heart aching. She patted my back. Emoer, don't cry. Don't cry. We're home now. He'll never find you again. It doesn't hurt anymore. It won't hurt anymore. I glanced at the empty doorway. Instinctively, I felt something was missing. During those days when I bled incessantly and drifted in and out of consciousness, a figure always seemed to stand at the door. Their eyes were filled with pain, yet they couldn't bear to look away. The moment I murmured in my sleep or groaned in agony, they would rush to my side without delay, holding my hand, or gently supporting me. The warmth in his palm would steady me from my nightmares. Where is the crown prince? The Empress Dowager paused mid-dose, her voice muffled. That boy has matters to attend to. He'll come see you in a few days. Appa lied to me. Didn't he? I grabbed the Empress Dowager's sleeve, refusing to let her leave. I stared at her eyes, stubborn and burning, searching for an answer. Finally, cornered by my questioning, she relented. He went to the cliffs to gather herbs for you. He was injured and has been avoiding you. Several days passed before Helan Chi came to see me. A faint scent of blood lingered on his body. His pale golden eyes had lost their luster. What are you looking at? Am I that beautiful? He drew near gently. Suddenly, I pressed him down, forcing him against the bedside as I undid his clothes. Aranmo! His tilted neck flushed a jewel-like color at his temples. Long fingers gently grasped my wrist. If you take off my clothes, you have to take responsibility for me. My gaze settled quietly upon him. After a long moment, I said, fine, while he was lost in dazed surprise. I pressed myself against him, yanking the garment from his shoulder. His broad, pale back, covered in scars, dark red lines crisscrossing where stone walls had torn him. I couldn't speak. My nose stung, turning red. I took out the ointment and dabbed it onto his wounds. He stiffened, trying to struggle. I simply wrapped one arm around his waist from behind. Each touch made him tremble. After applying the ointment, his breath was uneven. His pale golden irises veiled in a beautiful mist, like a sea of stars within my reach. Don't cry. Don't cry. The wounds on your back will heal as they grow longer. I didn't want to cry, but the moment I smiled, tears fell first. Heelan-chi stood beside me, unsure what to do. Appa knows I made you cry. She'll scold me again. Heelan-chi rested his chin on his hand, crouching before me. If you stop crying, I'll pluck the stars for you. That's what they say to soothe children in the Moon Kingdom. He still treats me like a child, trying to comfort me. I held back my tears and asked him, where are the stars? He opened his hands, a pair of earrings crafted from moonstone. Their glow shimmering, just like stars plucked from the night sky. They were stones I picked up in the Gobi Desert, carefully polished and made into earrings by my own hands. You went to the Central Plains, forgot our betrothal, and abandoned me. Every night I miss you. I go to the Gobi Desert to pick the most beautiful stones, even knowing you'll never wear them. His pale golden eyes clouded over with bitterness, losing their light. There's a custom in the Moon Kingdom. Lovers exchange earrings. Accepting his earring signifies accepting his heart. I am willing to wear it. Heelan-chi doubted his own ears. He stared blankly at the earring in his palm. Must I put it on myself? I asked deliberately. Let me. I'll help you put it on. He drew near. His warm breath brushed my earlobe. Too close. His fingers gently pinched my earlobe. His lowered lashes, so utterly focused. He fastened the earrings he'd crafted himself with the gentlest touch. The Empress Dowager saw the moonstone earrings on my ears and smiled. Such exquisite, one-of-a-kind earrings. Who gave them to Amoer? Appa, it was me. Heelan-chi stood behind me, before the Empress Dowager. He asked me cautiously, does our betrothal from years ago still hold? I've waited for you in the Moon Kingdom all this time. There's never been anyone else. The Empress Dowager laughed at him. After you left, he often went to the Gobi Desert. He'd stand there all day, staring toward the Central Plains. He never took a liking to any woman in the Moon Kingdom. Several times he secretly rode his horse, trying to cross the desert to find you in the Central Plains. After being caught by his father, the king, he was severely punished multiple times. Yet he never uttered a word, never felt he had done anything wrong. He said he couldn't bear the thought of you being deceived by a man from the Central Plains and insisted on going to see you for himself. I clasped the long knuckles of the man behind me, smiling. I met his bright, pale golden eyes full of expectation. Count it. As long as you still wish to marry me. Why wouldn't I? Heelan-chi grew anxious. Gritting his teeth, he whispered, Father wants to send envoys to the Central Plains to discuss trade. Then I'll go kill that man. 1 month later. Fu Liangzhou only then realized he was gone. For this entire month, he had stayed by Ji Yuning's side, accompanying her through her pregnancy. Nourishing soups and delicacies were constantly delivered to her courtyard. In just 1 short month, she had gained a noticeable roundness. Sister hasn't caused any trouble during her month-long confinement. Has she finally realized her mistake and dared not poison me anymore? Never mind. Let's release her. We still need her to help arrange the wedding. Only when Ji Yuning mentioned it did he recall the person confined in the rear courtyard. Truthfully, he hadn't entirely forgotten Su Amo this past month. But her temperament was too stubborn. Just like back then, when he'd merely kept a woman on the side. She'd vomited until the world spun, treating him as the most repulsive thing alive. She wouldn't even let him come within half a step. In the end, she'd obediently agreed to help him marry Ji Yuning. If only she'd softened her stance, Fu Liangzhou deliberately waited a long while before summoning a guard at a leisurely pace. Go inform the mistress. Should she comply, refrain from harming Ningning and the child within her, I'll release her. The guard hesitated. Sir. The mistress went missing a month ago. The inkstone in Fu Liangzhou's hand crashed to the floor. Ink soaked through his sleeve. He looked up. His eyes dark and furious. Say that again? You conspired with her to deceive me? Wasn't she supposed to be confined in the back courtyard? She's gone, why wasn't I informed? The usual icy calm in Fu Liangzhou's eyes couldn't hide his panic. The guard explained. Sir. When I came to find you, you dismissed me the moment you heard it was about the mistress. You insisted she must learn a lesson, that we couldn't tolerate her jealousy threatening Miss Ji and the child she carries. Fu Liangzhou couldn't hear another word. He'd never walked so fast in his life. Like a whirlwind, he stormed into the courtyard, searching for Su-mo. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. She hadn't taken a single thing. The bowl she drained stood untouched on the table. The world spun dizzyingly. He pressed his lips together, gasping for breath. The pounding panic threatened to shatter him. He steadied himself against the table. The guard said she hadn't bought menstrual regulating herbs, it was genuine abortion medicine. So who had drunk that bowl of abortion medicine? The realization pierced him like a sharp needle through his heart and mind. Fu Liangzhou had never known such terror. He forced himself to stop thinking. Su-mo was from the Moon Kingdom. She had once loved him with her entire being. She had traveled thousands of miles, leaving her homeland behind, to follow him from the Moon Kingdom to the capital. How could she? How could she abandon the child? Abandon him? And leave without a word? His legs grew weak as he stumbled back to Ji Yuning's courtyard. He heard voices coming from inside. Ji's mother had arrived at the Fu residence. Ji Yuning was keeping her company. Master Fu treats you well. Look how plump you've become, clad in brocade robes, adorned with jade hairpins. But your pregnancy. We bribed the doctor to conceal it for a time. But it can't be hidden forever. Ji Yuning cut her off lightly. She admired the new bracelet Fu Liangzhou had bought for her, glancing at her wrist. What's so difficult about adopting a baby from outside to pass off as my own? Liangzhou adores me so much. Never once doubting me. He'll never notice. Fortunately, Su-mo, that greatest obstacle, is gone. The apothecary said she was 3 months along. But she bought abortion medicine. That child likely won't survive. Sooner or later, the position of Lady Fu will be mine for the taking. Mother need only enjoy her fortune with me. It was like a blow to the head. Fu Liangzhou felt dizzy. His tightly clenched lips strained, veins standing out. 2 years later, the two nations opened their borders for trade. I returned to the capital with the envoys of the Moon Kingdom. At a banquet for the imperial court's elite, the attendees were either high-ranking officials or noble ladies. I saw Ji Yuning once more. Her hair was styled in a woman's bun, and she wore a skirt of shimmering brocade. She had clearly married Fu Liangzhou, becoming the esteemed, legitimate wife of the Fu household. I sipped my wine and shifted my gaze away without a flicker of emotion. An old acquaintance. I lowered my eyes, my expression serene, as if I had forgotten those 3 years when I was married to Fu Liangzhou. Ji Yuning spotted me in the crowd. Shock flashed across her face. The discarded wife who was divorced, how dare she show her face at a banquet like this in the capital? She deliberately raised her voice, drawing the attention of those around us. Su-mo. It's been ages. Who would have thought our roles would be reversed? Back then, you barred me from entering the manor and made life difficult for me. Now I'm the legitimate wife. And you, the divorced one, have you found a new husband? She raised her wine cup toward me. Sister, I offer you a toast. Though in your current state, you scarcely deserve my toast. But considering your status as the former lady of Liangchuan. She smiled faintly, her posture haughty, as if she hadn't held it steady. The wine spilled entirely onto my skirt. Ji Yuning feigned surprise, covering her lips. My apologies. Sister. I didn't steady it properly. Your skirt doesn't look too expensive, so I suppose I won't need to compensate you. I rose, picked up the wine jug from the table, and poured it over her head. Ji Yuning hadn't expected me to dare such a thing. The icy liquid stung her, making her shiver violently. Trembling, she glared at me, her voice filled with hurt. Sister. I only made a mistake. Why must you humiliate me like this? Ji Yuning clutched her shoulder, shivering as if utterly victimized. I sneered down at her. You've been feigning weakness nonstop to gain entry all these years. Still haven't had enough? Ji Yuning whimpered softly. Sister. I don't understand what you're saying. The moment Fu Liangzhou appeared, time seemed to freeze. He locked eyes with me. Shock flickered in his gaze, followed by the wild joy of something lost and found. Finally, hatred and bitter resentment took hold. He stood frozen in the doorway for an eternity, as if waking from a dream, before slowly approaching me. Liangzhou. I don't know what I did wrong to make Su Emo attack me. She sobbed, burying herself in Fu Liangzhou's embrace. Fu Liangzhou didn't look at her. From start to finish, his gaze was fixed on me, hating me, despising me, yet loving me. His dark red eyes seemed poised to devour me whole. Su Emo, you dare return. Where have you been these 2 years? Have you forgotten you're still my wife? The mistress of the Fu household. I pointed at the woman in his arms. I am the lady of the Fu family. Then what is she? What does she think she is? Ji Yuning called out weakly. Liangzhou. I'm so cold. Fu Liangzhou pressed his lips together, glanced stiffly at the surrounding dignitaries, and said coldly, Su Emo. Apologize to Ningning. I let out a soft laugh. He thought I was still that Su Emo, dependent, tiptoeing around him, enduring humiliation for his sake. Your Ningning dirted her dress first. Can't I return the favor? Fu Liangzhou. After 2 years. Is your blindness still untreated? Mockery rippled through the crowd. Fu Liangzhou. His face lost, clutched Ji Yuning tighter and threatened me. Su Emo. Don't forget, you're still my wife. Keep this up. And don't dream of returning to the Fu household. I'll send you a divorce letter. Sister. I didn't stain your dress on purpose. A man's honor is paramount. Just soften your stance. Apologize to me, and you can still return to the Fu household. Ji Yuning feigned mediation. Her eyes, though seemingly pitiful, gleamed with malice. I lifted my chin. A maid from the Moon Kingdom stepped forward. She struck Ji Yuning across the face with a backhand. Who are you, you lowly woman, to force my general to apologize to you? My general represents the Moon Kingdom on a mission to the Central Plains. Are you, Lord Fu, attempting to provoke conflict between our nations? Fu Liangzhou stared at me in sudden shock. You kingdom's general? Why did you never mention this in 3 years of marriage? Ji Yuning in his arms couldn't believe it either. All traces of his earlier arrogance vanished. I once hid my identity and came to the capital with him, seeking a pure, untainted love. If I had told you I was your kingdom's general, would you not have brought her into your household? Fu Liangzhou, then what do you love, me, or my status? I laughed bitterly. Produce that official divorce decree returned to me by the authorities. Look closely. This is the divorce decree you personally signed. We've long been unrelated. When did I ever sign this? His voice lacked conviction. Su Mo. I never intended to divorce you. Those were just angry words. He stammered incoherently in his defense. He never intended to divorce me. But the day he brought Ji Yuning home, I had already divorced him in my heart. Silence fell. I watched him coldly. His flustered, pained expression. He picked up the divorce decree from the floor, reading it over and over. Finally, he confirmed it was his handwriting. Finally, he remembered. The day Ji Yuning entered our home, he made me produce every ledger and deed to please her. He replaced my name with his own, clenching the divorce papers. His eyes shattered, wet and flushed. He stared pitifully at my belly. Then, what about our child? Su-mo. I can't believe you'd be so heartless, even abandoning our child. But the truth was, I hadn't kept a single thing connected to him. A gentle male voice sounded before me. He came to me for help, frazzled and exhausted, holding a crying, pink bundle. Wife, the child is hungry. Feed her first. The moment Fu Liangzhou saw this child, the embers in his once ash-filled eyes flickered back to life. She's mine. Of course not. I cut off his hope. Fu Liangzhou slowly sobered from his fervent hope. The curve of his lips turned bitter and dark. He closed his eyes, yet couldn't hide the pain within. 2 years, our child couldn't possibly be this small. Heelan-chi cradled the baby in one arm while wrapping his other around me. His gaze was filled with hostility and wariness. The little bundle settled into his arms and instantly quieted. Pale golden eyes scanned the room with curiosity. Fu Liangzhou met her gaze, his body jerking violently. Anyone could see the striking resemblance to Heelan-chi. The infant in his arms reached out, tugging at my sleeve. Wife, feed her first. Facing Fu Liangzhou's interrogation, Heelan-chi remained unfazed. Offering a faint smile, I can give her the entire world. I can grant her the highest position, no one will ever dare to bully her. Fu Liangzhou stumbled back 2 steps. He stared at the man before him in utter shock. Heelan-chi was the crown prince of the Moon Kingdom. He was a being Fu Liangzhou could never hope to rival. Ji Yuning, half her face flushed, belatedly felt fear rise within her. Twisting the handkerchief in her grasp, she murmured to herself. She was a woman remarried twice, who had even carried another man's child. How could her luck be so extraordinary? The crown prince of the Moon Kingdom actually took notice of her. This time, upon returning to the capital, I visited the Fu residence once more. I left in such a hurry. I left some things behind, and this was the perfect chance to move them back to the Moon Kingdom. When I returned, the Fu household was in turmoil. Fu Liangzhou, drunk on wine, handed Ji Yuning a letter of divorce. Ji Yuning knelt on the floor, clutching the hem of his robe, begging for mercy, refusing to let go. Why? You still love Su-mo, don't you? The moment she returns, you drive me away? Ji Yuning's laughter rang harshly. Fu Liangzhou, your regret comes too late. She aborted your child, so utterly decisive, leaving herself no path back. Now that she's married to the crown prince of Yu Kingdom, she'd never take you back. Fu Liangzhou, drunk, stared coldly at the figure at his feet, his eyes filled with hatred. You drove Su-mo away. And you deceived me with a fake pregnancy. You said Moer had no children after 3 years. Yet you've been married 2 years with no sign of pregnancy. Had I not made that mistake, our child would be much older now. He flung the divorce papers, ink still wet, into Ji Yuning's face. Leave. Gather your belongings and leave the Fu residence. As Fu Liangzhou exited the study, he encountered me directing guards to move my things. Box after box was carried away. The Fu mansion suddenly felt hollow. Panicked, Fu Liangzhou tried to stop them. Su-mo, don't let them take these. Must you leave me not even a single memento? I opened my mouth to speak, only to realize Fu Liangzhou and I had nothing left to say. He dropped to his knees, kneeling in the moonlight. Can I beg for one chance to turn back? You've been gone so long. I've sent people searching for you all this time. I often wake from nightmares. Where else could you go? Carrying my child alone? My heart aches so much I can't sleep. Can you give me another child? He was pitiful. His eyes red from crying. Tears streamed down his neck. I see most of the belongings have been moved. I gave him only a faint glance. Fu Liangzhou. Stop dreaming. I can become the empress of the Moon Kingdom. Why would you think I'd come back for you? This pitiful state of yours is nothing like the man I once knew. Even looking at you now fills me with disgust and revulsion. After speaking, I couldn't help but feel sick again. Before his ashen face, I vomited until the world spun. Helan Qi and the Central Plains Emperor established border trade between their nations. He casually mentioned Fu Liangzhou, a cold-hearted man who couldn't tell right from wrong, who had humiliated his queen at the banquet. The emperor understood perfectly. In the imperial court, Fu Liangzhou's position was stripped, and he was demoted to commoner status. All the scheming and striving Fu Liangzhou had pursued for over a decade vanished in an instant. As I departed in the Moon Kingdom's luxurious carriage, I saw Fu Liangzhou, disheveled and wretched. He knelt on the ground begging from passers-by. During our 3 years of marriage, I had cared for him in every way. Now, having fallen from his lofty perch, he discovered he knew nothing, not even how to care for himself. Those passers-by pushed him away impatiently. Spittle landed on his filthy, tangled hair. Ji Yuning returned to the Imperial Music Bureau. She possessed a fierce pride. Rather die as a fragrant blossom on the branch than be blown away by the northern wind. Yet this was merely a facade she wore, a tactic to attract patrons. Only Fu Liangzhou took it to heart. After leaving Fu Liangzhou, she attached herself to another high official, living in his outer courtyard as his clandestine mistress. It was an exact replica of her past. Fu Liangzhou rushed forward to beg at her carriage. Instead, he saw Ji Yuning, adorned in gold and silver, nestled against the bulging belly of a capital official. He cursed, "You whore! You deceived me until my family was ruined and I lost everything." Ji Yuning, undaunted, flicked her eyes and said, "Husband, this beggar insults me. Shall we break his hands?" Noticing I'd been staring outside the whole time, Helan Qi leaned closer beside me. Seeing Fu Liangzhou lying lowly on the ground, his tone turned bitter. Is Moer feeling sorry for him? He hasn't suffered enough yet. I laughed, deliberately teasing him. He understood, lifting me onto his lap and burying his face in the milky scent of my collar. "My lady is hungry." His voice was hoarse, his breath scorching. I glanced in surprise at the child sleeping peacefully in the back of the carriage. "No. She sleeps well." Helan Qi's hand slid down my collar. "The child isn't hungry. I am. Feed your husband." Helan Qi gave me no chance to refuse. Lowering his head to kiss me, he covered my eyes with his hand. "Moer. Don't look at him. Look at me. He looks like a beggar. Not half as handsome as I am." Deep in passion, outside the carriage, Fu Liangzhou's agonized screams pierced the air as his hands were crushed. But I had no time to care. Like a small boat, rocking up and down, swaying in his embrace. The end.